Good, Andy. I've got one mic right here. I'm going to let you guys banter a little bit while I get this other lapel mic working so that Andy can drag around a little bit of wire with him.
Do you want to let him
I'll let the two of you, Oh, this, whatever you'd like to do.
I'm going to tread water. Well, you find a mic. I think everyone would be very happy with that. Hello. I didn't think Andy was going to make it on stage with me. I thought you were on a walk. So I'm a little bit scared to get on the stage together. Although we do have just one mic, and it's notoriously hard to share a mic. If someone asks a question to one person and asks both of us usually, we have to swap. So, is that the one? Is that the mic?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do about it here. You know, I try to pay attention. I do have a hard time with it.
Oh, I understand. I understand. I don't know what we're going to, I don't know what, I mean, Andy, I think, and I have the same kind of routine, basically, on stage, and that is no routine. Yeah. We'd love to basically answer any questions and go from there. It's pretty much an ad hoc improvised situation. A few of you here I recognize were here yesterday, and so we were here today, last night, you two. For those people there who were here yesterday, who have to live through my long rambling explanation of the same story they heard yesterday, I apologize in advance. As far as Andy's concerned.
You repeat yourself?
I repeat myself to the word.
Do you really? And you claim, therefore, that you have no routine?
I have no routine.
Does anybody see a contradiction here?
But a contradiction is part of my non-routine repetition. So maybe I'll feel questions from anywhere. I'll start because Andy's obviously going to get hooked up. He has no idea what's going on. He has no voice projection ability, so he can't act the same life. I think someone had a hand up back there. Is that you sound testing?
Hi.
We've got a mic.
Yeah, got it.
So if someone has a question for Andy, they can spring that on me right now too. The more personal, the better. I know Andy handles those very well. Madam. How good am I at playing darts? I don't know if anyone's lived in England. I spent obviously a long time in England, and darts is really part of the routine. We all went to, as soon as we were 18, we were all legally able to go to the local bar or pub, as we call it, and there's very little to do. People sit around at tables and sort of drink beer and talk to each other for about 10 minutes, but we'd all seen each other the night before at the same bar, so we had nothing new to catch up on. I don't know if you know about that. And so everyone, after about 10 minutes, the conversation we went about one game of darts. So I play, I'm not particularly good, but I can hold my own, I can count to 301. I believe that's the only real prerequisite.
1, 2, 3, 4. Does this work? Oh, great. See, I can use both hands now. He's jealous. He's absolutely jealous now that I have to use it. No, so I have to play.
We set the tone. We set the tone.
All right.
So, okay, you can fire a question to him too.
Listen, all right, so there you are, young lady. My makeup takes about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on who's doing it. There's some people. We've got this one guy who's sort of the mad genius of the makeup department, and he's probably one of the weirdest human beings on earth, but he's also one of the most incredible makeup artists. So when he does it, he can do it in about 45 minutes, which pisses off the other makeup people, because then when they're assigned to me and they do it in 2.5 hours, which is what it normally takes, then the people start blaming them for dragging their feet. So everybody hates this weird makeup artist.
Andy has the ability to get in the makeup chair, and within 10 minutes of having his makeup being applied, he falls asleep. And he can have someone fiddle with his face and put glue on his face and screw with his eyebrows and stuff and paint his face and be completely asleep throughout the whole process. It's a wonderful.
It's drugs.
We shan't be invited back, Andy.
No, I will. I promise I'll keep it clean. This is a family affair, and I know my reputation is dropping like an Alaskan winter.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Alan, we've both been acting in Deep Space Nine. Well, the good thing is we've both been acting pretty much as long as each other on Deep Space Nine, and that is now getting on for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years in August.
I came. Yeah, it is a miracle. It is a miracle that should be applauded. But I came on about, I think, the second episode of the season, after they'd done the pilot and they'd done one regular episode. Then they introduced my character because his ratings were plummeting. So they needed somebody to prop him up. So, they brought me in.
This guy walking behind me in a bar, freaking me out. I don't know if anyone remembers our first scene here. I remember it really well. And there's flowers sticking up my nose. I had to get these flowers off. There didn't flowers going up my nose, right? And you were behind me, being all creepy.
That's right. Actually, I'm yes.
Fine art.
I was never a Star Trek fan until I got this job. Please don't hold that against me.
This job needs this convention.
Yeah.
Now I'm a Star Trek fan.
That's right. I found Star Trek God here in Anchorage, and thanks to you folks. I don't know about you. I think he was. Oh no.
I'm a geek, so I was a Star Trek fan before I did the show even. I was like, what was I doing?
I didn't know that. Were you really?
Yeah, I watched, of course everybody was a Star Trek fan for the original series, because, nobody had anything to do at 6 o'clock in the evening in England, and at least my parents would babysit me in front of the TV, and it was terrific to watch the Star Trek show. But I watched the Next Generation. We only had, at the time, when I first started watching the Next Generation, we only had tapes available in the store, so I would go down, and they were great, because these tapes had, we don't get them in America, but in England we get these things with 3 shows on each tape. I'm sure there's sites that now, I don't really know. So I could just sit through them, and you just go through hours of these things, and that's the kind of addictive nature of the Next Generation.
So you knew when they asked you to audition,
I knew.
So you knew exactly.
I knew. I had it in my head. I was going to be. I thought it was going to be Diana Troy's long lost brother. That was my whole thing. My whole plan. I was planning to get on the show. And when I first got the synopsis, I went to the audition. They didn't tell me this was for a regular character. They didn't even tell me it's for a new show. It was just Star Trek written at the top, and an audition, and you look through for your character, the character you're auditioning for. And I found Dr. Bashir. And there were 2 lines.
No, but it was written for Cisco, wasn't it?
I didn't hear that. I didn't know that till later. I was originally called for Cisco.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until much later. The first time I looked at Dr. Bashir, and 2 lines, it was a young, naive, arrogant. Pretty much what he said. There it is.
Which bug is it down here?
Oh no, if I really wrecked something here, what's gone?
All right, that's it, babe.
No, I'm sorry. They've got one of these things that,
Get Bill here. Bill,
That feels so much
brilliant.
better.
Electrical.
what came back on? I didn't even feel, I thought it'd go away.
Way back in the back, sir. Okay, there's a young
He's going to
man.
really annoy you, because I'm not going to finish my answer.
No, wait, but he's asking that, but you're next. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, but basically my question was, so you knew, you weren't intimidated by the techno babble, by the doctor babble?
At that time, no. I honestly thought it was just for a guest role. I was staggered to find out it was for the whole shebang, the whole 9 yards. It was great. Now you can, I've finished.
Well, you had your hand up back there. I don't know if it's a young man or a young woman, but there was an adult there. I swear to God, it's true. The kid was there. I believe it really was true. There really was somebody back there, and a head about 4 ears, and lots of hair, and a big tongue.
I'm so embarrassed. It's all right, Andy. He hasn't got makeup on, he's not very happy, he's not himself. It's an out-of-place experience. It's okay. Guys, the tailor shop's still open, everybody still loves you. No one believes you.
How many actors are on the set?
At any one given moment, generally,
There are, 8, 9 regulars, and then you have guest stars, of which, there's 2 or a few.
yeah. And we can have, usually there's no more than about 3 or 4 actors on set at any one time. That's usual. Because you never say, whatever you see on the show, in the scene, however many actors you see there, you're getting an idea of how many actors are on set. So you can build, make up a pretty good mental picture.
You don't want too many actors on the set because then everybody gets nervous and
Too many
frayed tempers,
Ego.
too many egos
That's
running
right,
around.
I mean,
We're impossible. We can't be dealt with. We won't cooperate with anybody. Madam. Ooh, good question. What is the ratio actors for?
What, 1 to 10? Oh, and what, including production?
7, 8, yeah, I'd say at least 1 to 10.
Yeah.
1 to 10, maybe 10 people trying to make sure you're getting your job right. To every actor. Which is outrageously disproportionate, really, isn't it? We got kind of enough support. We're still big egos. We're still impossible to deal with. There's still never enough can be done for us at any one given moment. There's a young man there with his hand up.
Sad but true.
Do we like our parts?
Do I like our parts? I love my part.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we really enjoy our parts.
Yeah.
We're desperate for the show not to be cancelled.
See, one of the reasons, I know speaking for myself, is that they know once they make an investment in you as an actor, and whether you're Sid playing Dr. Bashir or myself playing Garrett, once they make the investment, the commitment to you as that actor playing that role, then they write for you, and if they like the roles. And writers, will, some writers, because there are several writers on the show, some writers will like one character or a group of characters more than other characters. And they'll write for you, and they'll watch what you're doing as an actor, and the changes that you're making with the character. And if you start, and if they decide that you have certain strengths, you're going in one direction, then, I think they really try to take you in that direction. Of course, it can work the other way, too. They start taking you in a direction.
He just shot you with his face. The guy who asked you the question, the kid who asked you the question, just shot you with his face.
You could ask me to shut up.
I'm sorry to do that.
No, I'm trying to wear his manners. I mean, if you feel like I'm talking too much, just say, shut up. You answer the question, pal. That's enough. Unbelievable. Would you just come out of the Klondike or something? I mean,
He's got it between his legs, like his face.
yeah. All right. Security, please. I'd like you to check off. Oh, I got a great story about speaking of faces. Checking off faces doesn't go on. There is this amazing story. Paramount was taken over by this new group. I don't know who this new group is called. It's all right, Jonathan. His father just punched him out.
But his whole family deserted him. The only one sitting there with the whole row of empty chairs. Exactly right.
Anyway, so this group, I don't know what the name is, Orville, Redbone, or something like that. They took over Paramount. So whenever a new group takes over, they're going to be really efficient. They're going to get business efficiency right down, and sending out memos, and mimeographing them, or what are they?
Mimeographing.
Mimeographing. That's a 50s, concept. See how these sort of balloons break in the back of my head. Okay. Anyway, so one of the memos that came down to Deep Space Nine was about safety and set safety, which is a very important issue because people have been hurt. There was one actor that was killed a few years ago with a gun, and it was loaded, and they didn't tell him it was loaded, and then what happened to Bruce Lee's son, Brandon. Anyway, so this memo comes down to the prompt people at DS9. And in this memo it said that for safety's sake, at the end of the day, all weapons, all guns, all knives, all phasers have to be checked with the prop department and locked up. Good. So you understand that a phaser is just this painted wooden thing. Anyway.
You'd be arrested for what you did. Really.
I mean, if you're down Paramount, babe.
There's a lady behind you who's desperate to ask a question.
Yes, I need to ask Andrew Robinson, my message. I know that you on Murder, She Wrote, and I know you had guest stars in White Song, and it's my favorite film. And how did you like being a guest star?
Well, working with the lady asked about being a guest star on Murder, She Wrote, which I've done a few times. Working with Angela Lansbury is a dream. She's always been one of my, my all-time favorites ever since I saw her. I mean, it's unbelievable. What this woman has, and the career that she's had. They had a Screen Actors Guild Award show just a couple weeks ago that I was fortunate enough to attend because Kitty Swink, who's married to Armin Shimmerman, was one of the producers of it, and so she invited me, so I had an in. And they gave the Lifetime Achievement Award to Angela Lansbury, and she's one of the most humble, one of the most gracious, one of the most intelligent people, and she gave a great speech. I loved working with her.
That one part of this part, when they had this, when you were on Ireland, you know, when you were.
Yeah, in Ireland.
Yes, I take that one of you, and when you were guest starred on Murder She Wrote.
Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't get a chance to use my Irish accent. I played an American idiot. Yeah. I wanted to be, I wanted to play an Irishman. Anyway.
Right, and that's where you coming, Andy.
Back there's a young guy back there who's like, just got a yes. Good projection.
Good projection.
Excellent. Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Yeah, we're praying that there's a Deep Space Nine movie. I mean, praying to the God of patience. I mean, but we don't know. We don't know. Honestly, we don't know if the next generation is going to ruin it for us.
Yeah, they've got a good 10 movies, I think, in their sleeve, or even 6. But 6, and they've done one exclusively of their own. So maybe if they've got 6 of their own movies coming, and they do one movie every 2 years, I think you can do the math.
That's right.
It could be a little while.
I could come out of the nursing home, though, for it. What the hell?
All right. I'll help you out. I'll be pushing that chair.
Thank you.
He doesn't talk too good anymore, but he was a mean spy. Madam. Oh yeah, I remember you from yesterday, the Klingon lady.
Yeah.
Shout it out.
Stand up. Testify, woman. Testify.
I was wondering what you were thinking when Clint Eastwood was pointing a gun at you.
I'm cold. I'm underpaid. It was a cold night in San Francisco. Boy, he's a good-looking guy. I can see why he's star. And that's a big gun. And being my first film, I thought, ain't filmmaking weird? Basically, that was it. Because, honestly, I know what you're leading. You got to understand this whole star stuff. These guys put on their pants, like we do. They have to do things in the morning, like brush their teeth and other, things that we do. I mean, there's no mystique to it. The guy is tall, he's handsome, he's rich, he's a star. For other than that, he's just like everybody else.
You.
Yeah.
You. Sorry, I was pointing at him, but you. Right there. Question for both of us at the same time.
Okay.
First.
All right. Oh, yeah, no. People got to hear. Ask your question, boy. All right, I'd like to... Irene, are you in the room? Stand up, Irene. Irene, today is our 27th wedding anniversary. If I start messing around anyone, I'm a dead man. I'm позволю быть стороне. It does, man. You got it. You're good. We should talk about Django, though, I think. I mean,
Yeah, we will. So as soon as you get a question about
well, you got a question,
My new son is great, thank you. He's great. He's just coming up to 6 months old. His name is Django, D-J-A-N-G-O, and I grew up with that. And I was very happy about it. Very happy about it. I love that name. And he's named after Django Reinhardt, who is a guitarist who had something wrong with his hand. I believe he got burned to the fire when he was a little boy, and still became one of the greatest jazz guitarists around. So I'm very happy about that. That's his name, did very well, and I'm very happy with Nana. And we actually get planning to get married in June.
Sorry, girls, if Donovan hasn't already broken your necks, I mean, that's it. Yes, sir.
Okay. Jarek's got a love interest. Julian alludes to...
Has to be said.
You get on deck, nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
You date the Dalo girl, she dumps you.
But wrong.
And you remember the time when he said...
Anyway, have we got a love interest for Julian that's going to work at some point?
You know, that's like one of the best. That's like one of the great questions. I honestly don't know. I still haven't heard about any love interest for Julian. I still haven't heard about whether or not it's going to get together.
I think we can get volunteers, right?
Yeah. It just doesn't. You can volunteer. You'll think it's going to be great, but I don't know. You meet Julian after a couple of weeks, it just will go downhill. I have no idea why.
He's what? He's too perfect? Oh, gag me with a spoon.
Genetic enhancement does wonders for his nighttime. I'm going to get that gentleman over there in command colors.
That's right. On the aisle. Stand up, please, so we can see you.
What's your favorite episode? Keep that.
My favorite episode is the one where he and I were very, this intense episode where Bashir is helping Garrick come through this addiction, the wire. Exactly. And that was by far my favorite.
I got a few favorites. I mean, I like The Wire very much. It was tremendous. The first time we really got to grips with working with each other and actually had to do some sort of, Fox, Spa. I also like, I like sentimental favorites. I've got a sentimental favorite with Julian, Dr. Bashir, I presume, so I think that was in it. It was great fun to be Bond. I mean, it's just what a blast to get the Beretta and the stuff. And
Our man Bashir, I saw you watched the clip of it too.
That just the one was just
yeah.
So I like that. I had a good time, and I especially enjoyed shooting you. That was one of my great.
I love it. But that was a great scene, and it was also a great scene in terms of the relationship between Garrick and Bashir. And which I wish they would start taking Garrick and Bashir beyond that, because that's as far as they've taken that relationship at this point, where in Our Man Bashir, where Garrick, as you remember, for those of you who don't remember, Garrick and Bashir are in danger, and Garrick says, let's get out of this bad holosuite program, but if we do, it means that other people die, and Bashir says, no, we can't do this, we have to save those people, and anyway.
Yeah, they've seen the show, I think.
Yeah, right, okay. And then the cavalry rides in, and then this, no. So then he shoots him. He shoots Garrick, and basically what that says is that I've learned enough from you. The lessons that I've had to learn from you, I've learned at this point. And that's as far as I think that
They haven't taken any further.
No, they haven't.
But that's a pretty good gun. That's for
Yeah, it was.
Pretty good gun.
Yep.
Matt.
Yeah. Yes, Barry. That's
At
not
least
matter.
you remember my name.
Yeah.
I was wondering from both of you, there's been a lot of talk about how words and the way they're said. How do you think the way you say the words that you've written can go with your character? I mean, like your line, no, on the back without
Got it. So basically the subtleties of what you can do with a particular, how do we deal with a particular word or line, given that a line can be interpreted anyway, do we we have a good time, or do we often try and bend it to make our own characters fit into that, what we think of them? I guess yes is the answer. I mean, a simple syllable like no, yeah, you could say that in many different ways. You can just say no, and it's like an end of story. Or you can say no, like I don't want to talk about it.
Did the writers pick up on that?
I guess they pick up on that. I mean, just as you do. I think they do, but I don't think they necessarily had it in mind when they wrote it. I know certainly with regards to that particular syllable, I got a message saying we didn't realize that was going to. Now, obviously, we've got to do something with your family, which is great because the show came out. But there are all sorts of different things you can do.
Yeah, I mean, you see, the writers write the lines and they write the scripts, obviously, and that's the roadmap. But what we put underneath those lines, what I call the subtext, is our business. It really is. And if a writer starts coming up and telling us our business, that this is what you should be feeling, this is the way you should be spinning this line, this is the way you should be interpreting it, it's dangerous territory because now the writer is trying to do our business. And our business is to fill in all that underneath stuff, you know, the emotions, the attitudes. It's like what Sid says, I mean, how you say a line. You can say no as if you mean yes. I mean, so it all depends on how we read it and what our intelligence, how our intelligence informs us to read that line. Yeah. Yes, sir, with the camera.
Yes, along the lines of that last question for Andrew, is your character written to be as sarcastic as he is?
I think...
You brought that into it.
Yeah, I would say I brought a lot of that into it. Because I love to be sarcastic in life. No, actually, I'm not like that. And which is one of the things why I love playing Garrett is that because I get a chance to do a lot of stuff that I myself just never do. And one of those things is to well, Sid would disagree with me, but is to lie a lot. I love to play a character that lies like that. And so therefore, if you lie a lot, it's what Terry was asking about. Then you get a chance to like fill in your subtext. So in other words, Garrick has his own list of priorities. He has his own agenda, and basically, but it's never what he's saying because he's always lying. Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Because of the way you said it, the subtext in your line. Your response sounded like you were actually being sarcastic, wasn't you?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, that was it. Okay, but thank you, because I love the character. I love Garrett, I really do.
Matt.
When Bashir was playing Hansford, what's the Hansford do?
Did you notice that they were?
On a sliding scale from like a piece of mud or something? I guess. From a gene.
Along with his improved
now,
dark
this gene doesn't look too good. We're going to make it look like it up. I guess. I don't know. I think, looking at my parents, having seen them, I think I'm pretty much a kind of natural progression from that. I think it's possible. Well, they did some good casting with those guys. I think I could have possibly just come out of what they are. I don't think they sort of went, right now, we're going to make sure that he looks like this, but he has these problems and he limps and all that sort of stuff. I don't think so. I don't think we certainly didn't get into that area. I'm glad we didn't. That would be too freaky, wouldn't it? I think that's what everyone's talking about right now. Yeah, all the sheep in the world would all came from one gene. That would be a disaster. Especially if they had some sort of loaded disease that didn't actually kick in for 20 years.
Well,
we'd all eaten lamb.
Yeah, that's right.
And then after 20 years, we'd figure out that the first lamb was bad.
Yeah.
We'd all know it was all over in the next 5 years.
Well, we could get into original sin, it's kind of like, anyway, but we won't. But did anybody, let me ask you guys a question. In watching that episode, did that information change your attitude about Bashir at all?
Oh, yeah.
In what way? Somebody answer. Yes, ma'am.
Explain his arrogance. From the beginning, though, I saw underneath and now it explains it, and I'm, okay.
So you sort of like finally vindicated for being, what did you say he was? Sure. He's enjoying himself, isn't he? I think he added another word.
He's a Garrett fan. I see him around.
Next time it'll be 3 words. You're jerk, a loser, and a geek. And a nerd.
Yes, ma'am, in the back there. Yeah, you.
Any actor or actress or celebrity to be a guest alien on the show? Like, part of you, who would you pick and what would you have them do?
Good question. Good question, Andy. We nearly had this guy who plays Saran in the TNG movie, the crossover movie. He nearly came on. He was going to be my dad at one point, and then of course it became Saran, and that blew it all. And then there was an interesting idea that Saran might in fact be Bashir's dad, because no one knew no one knew who he had children. And obviously he was a good guy at one point, and then he just went kind of all bent at some point. And then that was going to be interesting too, and they didn't fly with that.
I'd like Michelle Pfeiffer to play Pfeiffer. I mean, basically, every actress in the universe that seems to be playing Ziyao these days, so I'm hoping that the next one will be Michelle Pfeiffer.
This might be his last anniversary.
What can I say?
Yes, sir.
Question for both of you. Either of you have relatives that are into this.
Yes, I do. I have an uncle who's in the business and played Saran on the...
Malcolm McDowell, he's a wonderful actor.
The guy who killed her.
The guy who killed Kirk.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Our beloved Saran.
Yeah. No, I'm a first. I mean, other than that, there were just a lot of shower singers and,
Your daughter.
and drama queens. What?
Your daughter.
Well, my daughter. Well, before
that's- yeah.
after me now is my daughter. My daughter who played Melanie in that episode, the last season called The Visitor. She is quite wonderful, and she's gonna have a great career, God willing. But this is such a weird business.
You made it.
Well, yeah.
That would be just as good.
You asked it.
Okay,
You got that hand up. For God's sake,
this late.
it's always about you. I mean, it's...
Yeah, please ask me a question. Everybody's getting involved here. Alright, okay. Genetically enhanced machine will kick into action. Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of careers, I've seen you in tons of stuff. I don't recognize you before these days.
I didn't do it. I mean, literally, I've done.
Your history.
I did two shows before I did Deep Space Nine. That's on behind the camera, and they were both in England, and no one saw either. A few people have seen them since. Oh, you saw them at the time. You saw it at the time. You saw one of them at the time. That's true. You do?
A Dangerous Man that he was in with Ray Fiennes is a wonder, but T.E. Lawrence and Prince Faisal is really a terrific. I don't know how you find this here in this country, but I think it's.
Yeah, you have to do sort of. You have to
It's
spin cartwheels, you have to ring PBS and stuff, and get all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you weren't.
But it was from that you got.
It's because of that I got that. So yeah, I haven't been in much, but so this is really my third job doing Star Trek. So that answers why you have to see me in Murder She Wrote.
Are you going to get better?
Is someone got the ad yet? Come on, folks. Listen, we're dealing with a very delicate ego here. It's like, yes, ma'am, in the middle. Take us in another direction. You, yes. And please stand up with me. Yeah, great, thanks.
I asked that question yesterday, so those who were here, there were lots of different reasons why I changed my name. In a nutshell, one of them was because I was just, it was too complicated, I felt, for people in general to deal with, and they couldn't say it, even when I told them it. It was like, do you remember my old name? Yeah. So people say it like that. And I had to go, no, that's Siddig Al-Fadil. And I finally got sort of, I can't. You actually did very well with it. You did very well. Most people get intimidated.
No, they've mangled it.
They can't handle it after the first, and even people at Paramount, when I first my first audition, the people who were trying to hire me, they were like on the phone, rang me back after obviously I got the job, and they were trying to make arrangements for tickets and stuff. And my mother picked up the phone, and someone on the other end of the line said, "Is Siddig Al-Farouk there?" My mother was like, "Who?" So Mr. Siddig Al-Farouk. We couldn't get So that was just the beginning. The Farouk. Where does that come from? Anyway, you've obviously seen too many movies with Arab terrorists.
That's right. I remember this fat Egyptian called Farouk. You know? That's right.
So anyway, that was one of the reasons. The other reason was just mischievousness, because it was kind of fun to change my name in the middle of it all. What the hell? Change my name now. And they had to change all that licensing. That was great. You know, they couldn't get the same old photos.
I like that, El Farouk. I think that should be a next name. Nothing else but El Farouk.
Just El Farouk.
El Farouk.
How about Farouk?
And El Farouk. Julian Bashir. And that's a ring. Way back in the end, on the corner there. Yes. You got it. Stand up and belt it. Oh, you are standing up.
It does have a comment all the time. It drives me crazy.
Did I play in First Contact? Well, thank you. No, I didn't play in First Contact. I think the only people besides the Next Generation crew. No. It was Bob Picardo and Johnny, Ethan Frome. Ethan Johnny. His real name is John, by the way. That's why I call him Johnny. But his name is Ethan because when he joined the Union, there was already an Ethan Frome. Ethan Phillips. Please help me. Oh, it's kicking in. Sid, please push the button. Push the button. It's kicking in. It's happening. Oh, good. Thank you. All right. No.
He's all right. He'll be all right.
I'm fine. That's why they bring me water, at this time of the afternoon.
You have had your hand up for ages. I'm so sorry. You're taking your glasses off now.
If I take the glasses off.
Oh, not you, madam. I'm so sorry. If you take the glasses off, no, I didn't mean you. This gentleman with the dark glasses behind you.
That's right.
Everyone has to take their glasses off.
I've got two quick questions.
Two quick questions.
Okay, now stand up and project. Good.
Okay.
John, what a guy.
Okay, first of all, when you go around, you get recognized often, because like I saw you walking out there, like nobody's really letting me see. And also, do you have any plots that you want to reveal?
Do I have any plots I want to reveal? Now, what was the first question?
When you go around in public, you get recognized.
Oh, when I go around public, do I get recognized?
It would be worrying if you got recognized.
No, not really. What I love about playing Garrett is that, and believe me, I do love this. I'm not being disingenuous here. I love the fact that people don't know that it's me playing Garrett. And I'm sure a thing happened. A lot of people who see me at conventions think, oh yeah, that's the guy who played the weirdo in Dirty Harry, or the guy who played the weirdo in Liberace, or the guy who played the weirdo in L.A. Law. Basically, there's been a lot of weirdos in my life, and I don't know why, because you can see that I'm.
That's why Garrick is a psychopathic Liberace.
That's right. And the only plot thing that I will reveal is what I revealed yesterday is that on the 24th episode of this season, there are 26 episodes each season, which I start shooting in a week or so. Isn't that wonderful? You're almost the end.
We're over.
Yeah, you don't know for the regulars. I mean, this is a grind. This is like the Iditarod. I mean, doing one of these seasons for people who were there every day, and especially the crew. The crew is unbelievable. But anyway, the 24th episode, I guess what I said yesterday may not be true. It may not be magic mushrooms, but something happens to Garrick, and he gets weird and crazy, and he starts hunting O'Brien, and wants to, for some reason there's a bounty on O'Brien, and Garrick wants to pick up the bounty, and so it's Garrick and the bad guy. I love doing it. I do enjoy that a lot.
There's someone here. I'm not. We're not going to ask you. That's the power we have.
Yeah, that's right.
This lady here first. We will get to you, but this is young. You're going to have to repeat that. I didn't hear that. How do you make people disappear?
Oh.
To energize, beaming in and out. That's a good question, because it's a fairly straightforward technique, cinematic technique, and that is they shoot the shot. They should say, for example, they wanted Andy and I to beam out here. So they would tell us, Andy and I to get out of the shot, and they would just shoot this with nobody in it, nothing happened. And then they would keep the camera up, and then we'd walk into it, and then they'd keep shooting, and then they'd cut. And then they've got all that film. Now when it comes to editing afterwards, when they take the film apart with scissors and glue it together, they put those pieces, the piece they shot without us in it, and the piece they shot with us in it, over the top of each other. So they can bring us in and take us out. Does that make sense? That's kind of it's a pretty weird concept.
Actually, the best explanation that I've ever heard. You helped me to understand that. It is. What a guy. And who's back there? I'm going to keep track of. You're back there? I think it's a sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You got it. We got it. Was there a problem with our man Bashir? Pass the question up. Let's see if it's the same question as it comes up. You know, like, whispering to each other in a big circle. Pass that question up. Oh.
I did. Yeah, we'll see it in syndication. But yeah, no, there was a story. The fact is that the Paramount got sued because of Our Man Bashir, because of its, the fact that it was so close to James Bond. I mean, it was pretty close. We can't really hide away from that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You suppose that's the reason why? Because they were supposed to do a sequel. Do you think that's the reason why?
That's been nixed. It's $100,000 they have to pay. But the
So there won't be a sequel.
Copyright infringement on James Bond.
Because it was just assumed because of the popularity of the show that there was going to be a sequel. So
They did a little scene in the middle of another show, that was it. I don't know if they're going to do another show altogether. There's an Odo show coming up, the next Odo show coming up. There's Bashir Bond, minus stroke, whatever, in the back of a limo with this babe, I guess, is the best word for it. And Odo comes in and Bond comes in and it all becomes a kind of funny situation. But that's the last, I believe, the last time we're going to get to it. Unless they change his name completely, and I don't know, put him in a white tux. Whatever, something to change it. I don't think it'll work so well though with a white tux and a water pistol as opposed to a real white tux. Wear a white tux.
Bond did wear a white tux.
Oh, can't do that then. That's out.
Yeah.
Maybe he wears dress.
Dress. I like to see Bond in dress. Cross dress. That's right. And then he knows something, sir. He'd get lucky.
The name Bashir. Julia Bashir.
He'd get lucky. He would come out of the woodwork and jump on his bones. Well, the girl, yeah.
Yes, you've had your hand up way too long.
What kind of practice have you guys done with other cast members, or have you had?
No, you got the best one. You've got the best.
I told the story yesterday again to half the people who now fall asleep for 10 minutes. But we are notoriously unpractically joking.
I was reading something yesterday about how you and Tom were showing up late while Renee was directing.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't
That's not a practical joke. That's just business.
Wake up.
Well, then you guys were doing other things, right?
Well, sleeping. I mean, you know them.
Colm and I,
You know Colm,
we have a reputation, Colm particularly, but we both have a reputation for being kind of late on the set every morning. But it's not because of anything, but just the alarm is impossible to hear. And that's what I say. Or the keys get locked in, or the dog gets out, or the baby wakes me up, or I run out of petrol, or all the I've used a lot of excuses to make that. But the only practical joke that I ever attempted, it was just shot down enough. Basically, the costume designer, Jerry Bono, key costumer, it's complicated, there's also different words for the same person, really. But he's the key costumer who comes and butches with you during the scene to make sure you're looking kind of upright, and that your zips are all done. You need someone to do that. Actors would walk around with all that stuff hanging out. I mean, really, bookers have no idea. We have no idea. So anyway, Jerry Bono came conspiratorially to my trailer one afternoon and gave me a dill cucumber. Just a regular.
A big cucumber. You can imagine what he did with this cucumber, right?
I had this plastic uniform on, this thing I was playing racquetball at the time with O'Brien, and I had this ridiculous uniform on. Anyway, it was shown, put it that way. I didn't put it anywhere. So you put it down to my trouser leg here. In this position, the escape hatches are. Anyway, right there, I went in front of the camera, just as the scene began to roll, it was quiet, of course, and everything was fine. Jerry was like, couldn't contain himself, he was kind of giggling so much he was shaking. So I walked out in front of the camera, and there was this hush, and then they started the process, and they rang the bell for everyone to be quiet, and the camera started to roll, and they pulled the clapperboard, and we did the scene, and nobody noticed. I mean, it wasn't just a small, it's not a bean. It was a cucumber. and I think after that people are a little dissuaded.
Man in the red outfit there.
How long does it take to shoot one episode, and how long is it before it airs? You guys are talking a while ago that you've already finished, or you're almost finished the season?
Yeah, we finish the season April 22nd, and each episode takes 7 or 8 days.
And
But,
does it air?
huh?
Does it air immediately after?
Yeah, it depends. It's usually aired, I would say, probably 3 to 4 weeks after the.
Actually, I would push it. I would go even to 2 months after.
Yeah.
After we shoot it. It goes through a huge process of being touched up. I mean, for example, all the sound you hear on the show, whether it's people walking downstairs, or talking the thing, and people in the background chatting with each other, all the noises
All
aren't real.
the doors opening, and
None.
when anybody presses a console, people beep, beep, beep,
All of
beep,
the
beep.
stuff, all the noises are faked in afterwards. I mean,
Yeah.
they're foleyed in, is the word.
Okay, what do you guys do after the time? And you're fun.
We have 2 months and 2 weeks. Yeah, we have 2 months and 2 weeks to generally hang out and either worry about being picked up for the next season, as some of us might, or try and find somewhere to go and relax. I mean, I took Nana. Nana was pregnant last time we had a hiatus. She was 6 months pregnant, and she actually flew 80 hours in an airplane because we had to go to Australia, we had to go to Europe. We had to go, I mean, these things she planned these things before she was pregnant, and so it obviously wasn't incredibly planned. The pregnancy. But nevertheless, very welcome. And we spent 80 hours in the air, which, I mean, nearly killed her. It was the most devastating. So it wasn't exactly relaxing for her, that hiatus. But we trekked through Australia. You're going to trek through Australia this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Australia's a place we go. I don't know, mainly because we've got a huge amount of Star Trek fans. So I think it's the biggest Star Trek fan population outside of America is Australia. So we do a couple of conventions in Australia sometimes. It's still a few times you get out of the country to do a convention. It's quite nice to go and see how other fans are, what they're like, who they are. So we did that. Have I gone on now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop there.
Yeah.
All right. Gentleman there. Okay. Kindly volunteered to your magic.
Where do you think, where you get the,
1 second, I'm just going to wait. We'll get you right in a second. Just this young lady here.
where you think, where you get the shit?
Yeah. Wait. We'll go to this gentleman first and we'll come back to you.
My name's Rob.
Yeah, shout it out, Rob. Yeah, Rob.
My name is Rob. I don't know where's the ship to go in Houston. Does the ship fly for the Houston?
Where does the chief go? I'm English, I don't understand any of this. You know speak this. I'm not very
The
good.
ship goes to Houston? Now, repeat that question, please.
Excellent. Good man. Yeah, come on up. Oops, sorry, man. Is this embarrassing enough for you? I'm so sorry.
You get a ship to go to Houston or Canada Airport?
Oh man, I
That's what I'm kitchen.
okay, all right. I think I'm not sure, but I think that's. Wait, do you know the ship that's going to Houston Airport? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know. I was in Houston Airport recently, and somebody came up to me and said, "Have you seen Dr. Bashir?" And I said, I was out of Starbucks getting a cup of coffee, and I said, no. Is he in the airport? And he said, yeah, because I think there was a medical emergency down on the first level, and the ship just came in, and I don't know.
There you go. Man.
Yeah.
You're lucky he answered that because he's very sensitive about that subject.
I mean, ships in Houston. But no, you're not gonna pass up this little girl.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong with you? She told my wife.
Why did I give up Jadzia Dax? Someone will explain to you that that isn't the way around it went. I didn't give up anything. I tried. Jadzia gave up on me before she even tried. Well, I mean, we just...
He was totally.
we
Can you imagine looking for Parmac in all the wrong places with Dax and Bashir? I mean, forget it. She wants to get down. She wants to claw, to punch, to gouge, to knee, to fight, bam. And she wants to talk about sensitive New Age stuff.
She's unusual. I mean, I'm kind of glad now that I didn't get involved with that. Wolf came into my surgery one day with broken ribs and stuff. I'm not going to explain that to you. But one of these days it'll all fall into place.
That will be the sexual glossary to Deep Space Nine.
Young man.
I never get tired of acting. I love acting. I really do. I would act every day of my life if I could. And one of the frustrations, and honestly, one of the frustrations of being an actor is that you can't do that. Unless, you can do it if you decide to live as in poverty, and do it for free. And, but to make a living, you can't do it every day. But I adore acting.
On the other hand, I like acting, but I'm not completely in love with acting. I really enjoy other stuff as well. I do get tired from time to time. It's kind of down. I get tired. But I'm not such a good actor as he is for a start. One of the things is that... One of the things that this is an important...
And this is an argument we have all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an argument we have all the time.
Real actors,
real actors
can do stuff that some people like me can't do. I don't like to do that kind of stuff that he likes to do. He makes it because he likes to get some emotion that I could never possibly achieve. I have to deal with the fact that what I get is a very two-dimensional kind of acting.
Get us out of this, please. And please stand up so that,
I was just wondering, when you guys do your acting, I mean, all that emotion stuff, is it natural or is it you have to work on it? How do you do all that emotional type of stuff?
He's the kind of actor that can do that kind of emotion stuff. I, on the other hand, am not.
No, I'm not going to fight, though.
It's hard.
No, something, it's a good question. It really is, it's the kind of question that, let me jump in here. It's, for me, it's like a good actor, and I started touching on this yesterday. A good actor is somebody who remembers what has happened to them in their life. And because we all store our memories, and it's not just, it's emotional memories as well. So that when it's required of you to in a certain situation, you've got all the material there, but it's your material, it's your information, and you use it yourself. So it's got to be you. It's got to be your emotional reaction to what is going on and to what the script is demanding. And or it's for my money, it's not interesting. Some people can fake it, but if they fake it well, it's still what is coming out of them.
One of the most common misconceptions about acting is that most people think people who aren't actors or people who maybe aspire to be an actor, that acting is somehow copying. It's somehow mimicry. So they think someone who can maybe copy a good accent or do something like tell a good joke with all the characters and everything is a good actor. And actually no, acting is so it is unlike copying that it's not funny. That's what I've learned. It's actually just being you. And if you can just be you for a couple of minutes every day and say the line someone else has written, then you're doing some acting.
Yeah, basically. We could get complicated. What you're saying is absolutely right. But in order to be you, it's like this philosopher says, know thyself, and the best actors know themselves. They really do. Yes, sir. In the red Starfleet uniform.
Sounds like Julian and Garrett Taylor are having a lot of fun of us.
Good. Well, I think.
You see, I love these things because this is another form of acting for me. This is a performance, and it's a different kind of performance, which it's a kind of performance I know I certainly never get a chance to do. It's like practicing with my bad stand-up routine, and you're kind enough to laugh at bad jokes of mine. You know,
That's about some of it.
yeah, but it's wonderful, and the two of us
For both doing, I mean, yeah, this is we get a chance to crack jokes that no one in their right minds would laugh at.
I mean, we can kick.
Does that make you think about what's happening here? There's a guy at the back who's been waiting for someone else. We got all the kids here today. Welcome, by the way, all you kids. It's great to see you guys because it's we've got 100 questions from kids. And
I'm sorry, we're
go for it. You're gonna have to really shout it out.
Shout it. How can you disappear when
I've been waiting for someone else. We got all the kids here today. Welcome, by the way, all you kids. It's great to see you guys because it's we've got 100 questions from kids. And
I'm sorry, we're
go for it. You're gonna have to really shout it out.
Shout it. How can you disappear when
Oh, the cloaking thing they do. Yeah, that's a cloaking thing. You know, that's a good question for Dax. She's the science officer. I don't know, but she's the guy who doesn't realize he gets hit by one of his fans.
All right, stop waving. Come on. Stand up and ask your question.
Well, actually, it's her question. I'll try to answer it. Have you guys ever been to Alaska before? What were your perceptions before you came? What do you think about it now?
I've never been to Alaska before. I thought probably they were all crazy up here. I realize they are all crazy.
It's a beautiful place. I've never been up here before. Most of America to me is like a discovery as it is, because I've only been here a few years, and coming in over the plane and seeing this extraordinary area down below here with the mountains and stuff is fascinating.
Yeah.
You guys all tell me to come back in spring. In summer, I'd like to do that, but I like to see it now as it is, because this is how it is for 8 months of the year. What was someone telling me? Dinner was telling me you have 4 seasons here. It's like June, July, August, and winter. I like that. Tell me that is. Okay, come on, ask your question.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Okay, you weren't here. He's fine.
It's so amazing. I cannot believe, that's right. See, yeah, they're talking about.
Okay. But I hope that satisfies your curiosity. They're a little worried. If you don't mind me betraying your confidence here. I'll say it in French, because he understands French and no one else will hear. So they are a little worried about your mental health.
They're a little worried about your mental health. They are not the first people to worry about my mental health. But you know something? What? Me worry?
You must have a question, because you've had your hand up for too long as well.
Where does Eric's true alliance live?
Nowhere. Himself, but that's not quite true. It turns out he is an ardent Cardassian patriot. There's no question about it. And oddly enough, he hedges against the Cardassians that are led by Gul Dukat, obviously. And as far as Garrick is concerned, now that Gul Dukat has made an alliance with the Dominion, that is poisonous as far as Garrick is concerned. Because Gul Dukat, as far as Garrick is concerned, is allied with the sort of military dictatorship. And oddly enough, because Garrick is not an easy character to figure out. Garrick is really, as far as I'm concerned, is a Democrat. He would like, not only Democrat and Republican, our ridiculous thing that's going on here. Can you tell the difference between a Democrat and a Republican? No, but Garrick believes in democracy. And he would like a democratic Cardassian, whereas, as far as he's concerned, Ducat is perfectly happy with a military dictatorship. He is that, but on the other hand, he's a liar. So this all may be a lie that I just said.
You're very good at ferreting out the great questions.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Ferret. Yes, sir. What influence?
What influenced your career the most? The school you attended? But from my personal point of view, I guess I was unintimidated about acting because it was in the family. My mother also was a publicist at the theatre. She spent the entire time like telling everybody to come to the theatre. So it was never very intimidating, which I think most people's problem is getting over the initial intimidation. I could never be an actor. That would be just too difficult. It's not. The other thing was, I had a great English teacher, and if you can get some great English grades behind you, linguistically, you're in really good. I mean, some people have been asking me this weekend, I want to be an actor, I am an actor, or whatever the scenario is. Now, what do I do next? And two of them, at least, have been maybe 16 years old and saying, I'm planning next month to go to Los Angeles and try my luck.
Yeah.
And it was important to say to that person, and both of those people, in fact, that you can join the 75,000 other people who are 16 and trying their luck in Los Angeles and not going anywhere because you haven't got a grade to your name at this stage of the game. You've got to go to college and do English or something like that. That's the best thing. I think that's probably the most influential thing. I flunked college at the end of the day, but at least I went.
You know, I told you the story yesterday about the art teacher who like told me that, because I was going to chicken out, and it was for me, it was chickening out, because I really do believe that we all have our things that we have to do, and he convinced me to, build up my courage and go for it. But probably what happened was after I got the scholarship to go to the same school that Sid went to. Sid went to the school maybe a couple of months after I did. I couldn't get that right. Anyway, but I was doing this production of a Chekhov play called Seagull. And this kind of comes back to the question, sir, that you had about emotions. And I was playing this character called Konstantin Treplev. And Konstantin Treplev is a guy whose mother has neglected him all his life. I had a very difficult relationship with my mother. I mean, before she died, we made our peace. And I was playing this scene where Treplev is complaining about his mother and about how, she just ignores him, she doesn't care about him, she's got this boyfriend and so forth. And I started to cry as I was doing it. And it was a student production. It was in it was in that wonderful theater up the road. That's right. And I started to cry, and like suddenly there was this. I couldn't. It wasn't a literal thought. I can't articulate it. But there was an emotional understanding about my relationship with my mother that happened. And of course, when I came off stage, and of course everybody was very complimentary and so forth, but it didn't make any difference whether anybody was complimentary or not. I suddenly understood that this was what acting is about. I made some connection, some mysterious emotional connection, and that's at that moment. That's when I decided I was really going to do it, as a profession. Back there, way back there. Yes. Oh, now you got to stand up, because if I don't know where the question's coming from, and you got to shout the question out. Thanks. Yeah, well, I thought about the igloo. Yeah. That's the point. I thought it was going to be the igloo Sheridan, But I forgive you for coming into the, modern age, 20th, at least the 20th century.
This lady here has also been very patient.
How long does it take you to prepare?
1 second, sir, please.
How long does it take you to prepare to go before the camera, memorizing script, or how do you do all that?
Oh, that differs wildly from one actor to the next. I know some actors need like a couple of days to prepare to get all the lines. I mean, you can't honestly prepare for more than 2 days or 1 day because you haven't got a script for the first one, so you don't even know what to prepare.
We often get the scripts at the last minute. We certainly get the changes at the last minute.
Yeah. I mean, my technique is usually to read it the night before, familiarize myself with what the lines are, at least in terms of what I'm saying, and the next day after rehearsing it, learn it. So and I usually have an hour or 40 minutes to learn the lines before shooting it. That works for me. Everything works.
And I'm different, very different. I try to learn the scripts as early as I possibly can. I start learning the lines almost immediately because Garrett talks a lot. You know, and there are, whenever they start giving one of Garrett's monologues, it's like, and you know, and he talks a lot. It's all circuitous because it's hard to memorize the lines of a liar. You know, because the logic is line, and you know.
You got it.
Yeah.
This lady here.
Gentlemen, may I say, you both do it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think they found out that you were genetically enhanced and all that. Are they going to remember to make you shoot the dart over it in the
I was telling someone yesterday I had to remind them because the very next show that I had to do was I was playing darts with O'Brien, and they completely forgot about it. They completely forgot that I was even genetically enhanced. And I went, listen, guys, I am genetically enhanced now. I can't shoot here with O'Brien. He'd be so pissed. I'd be beating him too easily. So they finally had to rewrite it and make me stand behind the boulder, the pillar at the back, and shoot from behind the pillar. You'll see it's actually the show I ended up directing, the Business as Usual show. That was the one I had to remind them that was what was going on. Right?
Will there be any more limitations because of the genetic?
I hope something will happen. There's a slight tradition in Star Trek where you start a wonderful storyline and then you drop it.
And it's a mistake. I wish they wouldn't do that. And I especially wish they wouldn't do that with characters. You know, like you get a character going in a certain direction, and then they decide, well, no, that's enough of that, and then they just drop it as if it never existed, and you start from someplace else.
Yeah.
Because
So I hope so is the answer, but I'm not. But we can't guarantee. I wish they. I would.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Two quick questions. Is there going to be more about Garrett's past in the coming episodes? And second, for Sid, you said you like to go to Australia. You scuba dive.
Oh yeah, no. I don't scuba dive. Snorkel. I don't scuba dive.
No. And in terms of Garrett, I never know. They never tell me anything about Garrett. I mean, I have to make up my own history about Garrett, and then they sort of hint at stuff, and in the episode The Wire where he tells these three different stories, I never know. So I have to make up all the stuff about Garrett myself. It's an acting technique where you create a biography for your character, just so you have something to hang on to, and that's really important for me to do with Garrett, since I had to have something that I made up that at least was consistent for me, because otherwise I'd just be all over the place with the guy.
I don't think I'd have the balls to scuba dive. There's something about, I don't know. I've got one of these phobias about getting in the ocean. I don't know, it doesn't happen all the time. And you can see maybe 15 feet, and beyond that it gets really dark. And down it's really dark. And I remember in Australia, I was on a dinghy with Anna, we were going up, and we were snorkeling off these unbelievable coral reefs. I mean, these fish were like this, but they were rainbow. I mean, beautiful big. And I was kind of into it. And then you swim along a little bit further, and you go over a shelf like this, and suddenly there's no bottom. And there's nothing more terrifying. I don't know what it is. Maybe something happened when I was watching Jaws or something.
You wonder what is shrimp.
And what is it about fish? Have you ever had this? Fish. You swim amongst a group of fish, and they start nibbling your butt.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
So, but you can't get away because they're like from every angle.
As long as they don't have nibbling. As long as they don't eat a lot, you know, that's I have to know. Take what you want and leave the rest.
Fish. Snorkeling in Alaska.
Yes, ma'am.
No, it seems like it because it's an Arab name, but there's like a stray group of Arabs in Africa too, who aren't really Arab, and the Africans don't think they're really African. They're really confused people. They're the Egyptians and they're the Sudanese, and then they also go down to Ethiopia and Chad, and basically there's a whole Muslim faction throughout the middle of Africa, and all of those people have Arab names now, and I'm one of those, which is not at all Middle East African, basically, by in ancestry, I would say. Hence this like long, skinny thing. You know, and you always get those pictures of African men in fields with a big spear, like a long kind of dress, for want of a better word, and these tiny little matchsticks hanging out the bottom, and they're just like hanging like this, like stalks. And that's exactly the kind of body I have. I inherited that from hundreds of years of African men. Tall and European.
It's certainly not Alaskan.
It's not the aesthetic over here. You know, but that's basically it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I'm a bit claustrophobic, yeah. Yeah, and as I mentioned yesterday when I was doing that episode, you know, the Purgatory Rises, there's ridiculous titles, Purgatory and Apocalypse and so forth. But there was that two-parter when Garrick is in that little enclosure and so forth. Not only was I related yesterday how the makeup and the costume kind of makes me claustrophobic, but that space made me claustrophobic, and I had the flu, and it was one of those moments when I wasn't happy about being an actor. I wish I was, hanging out with Sid over at Joe's bar.
Mellowing.
That's
I'm not at all
no, he just has problems with fish nibbling his butt. Yeah, I love it. It's sort of like, oh yeah.
Yummy thing.
Stand up. Stand. Hey, what?
How and when did your acting career start?
I kind of related that a bit, so why don't you...
My acting career started very recently. I was telling some lady here, some lady, I'm so sorry, you. Some lady in the front row.
That's no some lady.
Some lady, that's what I'm saying. Basically, my acting career started a couple of years ago. It wasn't when I started the show. It was a couple of years ago, so it's about 6 years ago now. Maybe 7 in fact. By mistake, because there were no Arabs in England acting, and they needed someone who looked Arab. I mean, I might have been.
You're kidding? With the number of Arab people? There were no actors?
Not at all. I mean, if they were, they weren't coming out because they were asking. There was a lead job, one of the jobs in a lead TV series, and they were advertising in local newspapers for this actor. They were saying, "Well, we didn't act for this series. Anybody, please come forward." And I came forward, and I happened to look. They looked Palestinian, and I happened to look Palestinian, so that's how I got the job because everybody else was out of town or not acting. I don't know what it was. So it was very fortuitous for me. So I advise you to just get a little shoe polish, put it on the thing, and be Arab. If you want to act.
Yeah, but terrorist roles. I mean, like they offered you that role in that Kurt Russell airplane
movie called Executive Decision.
Yeah.
It's like, please come and do Executive Decision.
Yeah, so you can be an Arab terrorist.
Yeah, exactly.
Because basically, that's yeah.
And I did this audition. I went to do this. It was Kurt Russell. It was a Kurt Russell movie, and it was like I went along, and they said, "We'd love you to do this thing to be this terrorist guy." And I looked at the lines, and they were. I don't even know what the movie ended up like. It probably ended up. So anyway, I got these lines from this Arab terrorist, and he was like, I don't know what he was saying. He was saying things like, "Move in the back, you people, or we shoot, move in the back."
It's Hollywood's version of what an Arab is. An Arab is a guy that sticks up airplanes and tells people to move in the back.
And I said to them, listen, I don't want to be the kind of Arab stereotypical Arab terrorist who goes shooting the back. And they said, well, do what you want to do with it. So I was like, listen, would you please move it? Great, it would make my day if you just done it. And they hired me with that. They said, we'll make him a nice Arab terrorist. It would have ruined the movie. It would have ruined the movie.
No, it wouldn't. No, I'm sure it would have improved that movie. Yes, wait up. Yes, you. Stand up. Stand up. Yes. Oh.
You guys are having such fun with the practical jokes, and I just wondered if any of your Alaska fans gave any moose nuggets souvenirs.
I know what moose nuggets are. I told them this morning.
It's like what they call cow pies.
Very small, very...
They were coming right up into our yard.
Oh, yeah.
Old Alaskan practical jokes.
Sure, you haven't been putting any news in
Any new people who come into this state, they basically do the moose nugget gag on there.
Oh, my God. Who has to ask the question? I mean, have you, sir, give it a shot.
I'll start.
asking, on the internet, there's rumors that next season is the last season for Deep Space Nine.
Well,
That's
it's
pretty good,
scheduled. It's scheduled because I mean you're on a 6-year contract,
Yeah,
right?
6.
So if they go beyond 7, they would have to renegotiate with these guys. These guys can pull out their guns and say, "We'd like the bank, please."
Yeah.
If you want us to do a 7th season, give us the keys to the vault.
Put another 0 on the Barbie.
And I have a feeling that, the boys over at Paramount aren't going to be wanting to do that. But you never know, because I think we're finally getting popular.
I was wondering what the feeling was there about Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
Well, there's obviously people try and create an extraordinary amount of something between Voyager and Deep Space Nine, but the fact of the matter is you know as well as I do that Voyager is a network show, and Deep Space Nine is a mere syndicated show. And the network shows are highly politicized beasts of their own design.
And, for instance, when I directed one episode of each. I directed an episode of DS9 and an episode of Voyager. And when I was directing the episode of Voyager, I got a lot more directions from the producers saying, well, the network doesn't like that. The network wants the aliens, because I had these aliens in the episode I directed, and I wanted them to be understandable. So I was auditioning for the head alien thing. I was looking for a certain amount of sympathy and a certain amount of sensitivity, and they said, no, we don't want that. The network wants the aliens to be bad people. And I thought, I wonder what Gene Roddenberry would think about that. And I said that to them, and it kind of stopped them. They started thinking, well, and I said, because that seems to me, against the grain of what, the original impulse for Star Trek was all about, was that somehow in the 24th and 25th century that we've gotten past that kind of crap, that sort of partisan.
No crap, nothing.
Yes, ma'am, on the aisle.
I'm always wondering, so either one of you have a fan of the early Star Trek series, and that had an influence on you to do the show that you're now?
I loved it. I love the early series. I saw loads. I didn't know the names of the episodes and stuff like that. I mean, I was a child, but I certainly enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it when they left the ship to go to a planet. That was the time it all kicked in. That was when it was all magical. I didn't care if this guy with a detergent bottle on his head came out of that. It was great to me as a kid, and that was kind of what it was all like at that time. Well, the light bulb head people, all those guys. So that was what, and it did influence me only in one way that I really know of, in that Captain Kirk had a stand-up figure, a cardboard stand-up figure where he's got a phaser and he's doing something like that. Or like that. He's looking very small.
Oh, yeah.
And I try to do that exactly.
Very smooth.
I try to do exactly
You do. And you do have some Captain Kirk moves, don't you? You do.
It just looked like I was a jerk. I look like a jerk.
Don't encourage them. I'm telling you, you're asking for trouble.
I am.
You're asking for trouble. But I, on the other hand, didn't know Cardassian from a hamburger when they sent me the script. But it was an acting job. But since then, I have gotten into it. We're going to wind down in probably about 5 or so minutes. But I just want to say, I just want to say, before we wrap up, that when we sell our pictures out there, we're selling. Sid and I sell these pictures for charities because they're charities that we support and that we feel very strongly about. So I want to thank you in advance and thank you for the pictures that you bought yesterday. As I said, most of you, some of you probably didn't hear me yesterday when I said that Irene, my daughter Rachel, and I went to the Middle East and we visited some of the Save the Children programs. And I just want to say that the money that you spend with these pictures goes into those programs. It doesn't go down some bureaucratic, administrative sinkhole. It actually goes into these programs helping people who desperately need help. So thank you very much for that. So you're waving your hand like crazy, so stand up.
How did you like playing a psychopathic?
Yeah, didn't you ask that question yesterday?
No.
Someone said exactly the same words yesterday. How did you like playing a psychopathic changer?
He was good, wasn't he?
They put it
He was really, no, he was good, I mean that.
Because I never thought of him at the time as being psychopathic. He obviously is. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. It was just good fun to play Bashir as if he'd been like sucked by a vampire. Of all the kind of emotion and life was sucked out of him, and he was just saying the words like some sort of robot. I quite enjoyed doing that. That's it. So there's a lady there.
Yeah, good.
I was wondering if you guys had any
Sid's got a great impersonation of Avery.
Yeah.
I've seen you do Avery before.
Avery has the most. I don't actually have an impersonation of him. That's so unfair in front of all these people. Build them up in an absolute wonderful impersonation of him. But I can only say one word that he says to me all the time. He has this incredible voice, and he has this. He does all this stuff. He talks in this wonderful. To me, it's wonderful because I'm not from America, but he dig and say all these stuff, and it's like wow, this is like something.
No, it's great. When he directs you, it's like he talks to you in jazz.
You know what I mean?
It's like
It's great. Anyway, so but he always, I can hear him from about a mile away when in the morning when he comes into work and he's like, Doctor! And right there, a little thing like Omar Sharif in Lawrence of Arabia is Avery Brooks coming through the shimmering thing. And there, so that's my only impersonation of Avery Brooks is that word, Doctor. But that's it was wonderful. Otherwise, I don't have any other. I don't actually have any serious. There are all the people who are really good at all the impersonations tend to be our stand-ins and some of the extras on the show. They're great at impersonating. You can always walk past and you can hear them doing stuff. The Kirk impersonation is everyone's favorite. They're all doing these Kirk impersonations. Yes.
Well,
I'm a computer. As I was saying earlier, I'm a geek. I love computers as well. So
I told him yesterday about how you've been helping me, edit that thing.
Oh yeah, I've got what is known as a non-linear digital editing system at home, which is a bit of a mouthful. You can ask one of those for Christmas from my parents. Non-linear digital editing suite. There's wonderful stuff. I think you pick them up at Kmart. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think Kmart came to Alaska. Kmart and what is the other store that just came to? Guys have hit the big time now.
How are the igloos into Walmart?
Right. Anyway, so that's my favorite thing. I do that. I like to play games. I like to occasionally surf the internet, but it kind of gets a bit dull after a while because it's like looking through someone else's trash. I don't know if you ever look at the internet. It's really, you have to comb through all this rubbish. And everything has a wonderful, catchy byline at the top. Like, for example, if you look at the Star Trek internet stuff. I don't know if you get to ever look at the internet or anything like that at school or something, but you'll see, you punch in Star Trek and it goes, we have found 750 million entries in the word Star Trek. And you go, okay. And here are the first 11. Oh my God! And you put the first one is Star Trek. Everything you ever wanted to know about Star Trek, you go there, you zoom there. I have this wonderful motor because it's zipping in there. And you see this like messy page with someone going, and I hate Captain Kirk's hairdo, and I don't like this, and hundreds of useless facts, top 10 lists. Everybody has top 10 lists in it. Thousands of top 10 lists. The 10 most likely things a Ferengi is about to trip over in the holosuite. Help me out. I don't understand that. And that's number 1 of 700,000 entries. So I don't really do that very much, but I quite like computer stuff when I do that. That's my hobby.
Yeah. Yes. Are you a duo or are you a single? Okay. Huh? Oh, me? Oh, I like to sit and stare at the wall.
Watch Strauss Row, paint dry.
I write poetry, and I love to walk. I really love hiking, and I live in this area of Los Angeles in the hills, and I have all these mountain trails. I love to do. So that's pretty much what I love to do. Yes, young lady. Oh, are we friends with any of the actors who play on Voyager? Absolutely. I've worked with, for instance, Kate Mulgrew. I've probably worked with in more different situations than any other actor. I worked with her on her first job when she played my younger sister on the soap opera, which only old geezers would remember, called Ryan Coe. That's right. Yeah. It was a hell of, for a while, it was a hell of a cast, and we really had a good time. And then they sold it to the network. I got fired on Christmas Day, and they started bringing in gorillas and you know, I mean, it just fell apart. But I worked with Kate in a bunch of stuff, and Robert Picardo is somebody I have enormous respect for. A lot of respect, and I like him a lot. Johnny, Ethan Frome, that's right.
So we bump into a few of those guys, but I like Robert Picardo. I know him. I work with him obviously on the share whatever it's called. And who else do I know? I don't really know anyone else. I got to hang out with Garrett Wang a few times in the early days, and Tupac, I know him, and that's it pretty much. They don't keep us apart. We are by nature of our work.
Working nature, because I mean, guys are working very hard and different, and just the sets are right across the street from each other. But you know, it's just such intense work that there's not a lot of hanging out.
Yeah, you don't get time to just wander over that.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned Gene Roddenberry earlier. I was just wondering, does Majel Barrett still play much of a role in influencing things?
I don't know. I know she plays a role.
She plays a role on the show. I don't think she's influential as such, in terms of politically.
No, not at all, yeah. But it was your front tooth. My God, look at that. No, it's not a miniature tooth. Look, let me see. You lost his tooth. And say, is that Major Roddenberry? No. Oh, you have a miniature. Is your breath bad? Is that why you
Major Barrett isn't all that influential.
Boy, he moves stage right.
But she does do some computer voice and stuff like that, I think. And she comes back and does a few shows as that Lotswana Troy. I can't say that name. Lotswana. Yes, I might have changed to Alexander.
Yes, sir. No, it's not, man. It's not. Because it's not working. You got the. Personally, I think the ontological implications of the system.
There's a whole gang of dogs outside. All tied up to this post. I think
Wrong turn on the Iditarod. You pointed to that I blew out before.
He wins dollars for that. He just had a bet with his son that he wouldn't do that.
Pull up in that left, and basically, the translation was, you guys are a couple of jerks.
Well, I don't think so. I think they're wearing a bit thin. It depends really on how these next couple of years do. I think they've learned their lesson as well, to be serious for a second, is that you cannot keep saddling these on top of each other. You can't. It's great to have a show like Next Generation come out, and it was great to watch it and watch its progression. And then Deep Space Nine came out and sort of took over just at the end, not really took over, but just like augmented it. And as soon as Deep Space Nine kind of walked out and took a breath, Voyager came out as well. And now we've got two shows happening at the same time. And if you can imagine it, we'll have, in syndication, it's stripped right now, which is the shows that you see every night. There are already 4 Star Trek shows showing concurrently on any one given night. There'll be 5 if they have another series. There's only 5 days in the week. It'll be outrageous. I don't think they can do it. I don't think I think they might have reached saturation. Yeah. That's the ideal world, isn't it? But I'm pretty certain that they think that.
Okay, listen, we're going to do just a few more questions, just a couple more questions. Okay, sir, you, and then the man behind you, the woman in red, and then madam, you, and you're the last one. Okay.
Okay.
Sid, were you worried about being typecasted because you didn't have a lot of acting experience before, and you walked into a Star Trek role?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I would be worried about that, but it kind of was. No, I'm not, honestly. No, I think you make your own gig when you leave. If you can't get out of that, whatever hole they put you in, whatever pigeonhole it is they put you in, then that's your problem. Certainly acting, which has got such a position that I've been in, such high rewards for it, and such a wonderful lifestyle, and all that, blah, blah, blah. But much sympathy for an actor who goes, oh my god, I was 15 years on Dallas and I can't get another job. It's like,
is that you don't want to get stuck with doing one character forever. I mean, after I did Dirty Harry, I mean, I could have been playing these guys frothing at the mouth for the rest of my life. And while I don't mind playing them, I honestly don't. I have fun with them. I mean, it's boring. It really is boring to get stuck doing one thing. And I think it's the same thing with, whether it's Shear or Garrett or Odo or Dax or whatever it is. I mean, after a while, it comes to an end, and it should come to an end. It really does. And then you want to do something else.
20 years, we'll be here again. We'll still be doing the same roles and the same show.
We'll certainly we'll be doing this show. No kidding.
In fact, we've had this work for yeah, that's how we think it is.
All right, number 3 back there. Shoot. Shoot. Oh, well, shoot, because I pointed you back there, now go for it. She keeps pointing to somebody. Okay.
We'll let this gentleman.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to know what the next episode's plot will be? We can't tell you that. We can't ruin the episode for everybody. We tell you that.
Well, I don't know, so if you don't know.
The next episode, what is the next episode? The next episode, I believe, is an Odo episode. And I don't, to be honest, know what, I think that's right. There must be spoilers out on the internet right now already about what the next episode is going to be. But I think it's an Odo episode. And after that is a Quark episode. And I don't remember what the one after that is, but Odo Quark are the next 2 in order. I'm not going to tell you the plot because the answer to the plot is lying on the plot.
I mean, Bill should run out first, because that last question.
It would be nothing.
That last question, yes, please. Yeah. That's a great question to end this. It really is. It's things change. Things have to change. I mean, he came up with this idea of boldly going forth and so forth, and then it has to pass on to a next generation of writers and producers, and it does change, and it will change to the point where a lot of people, for instance, felt that Deep Space Nine was a betrayal of the Gene Roddenberry thing because it takes place on this fixed station.
People don't get on too well. That was also a betrayal of the Gene Roddenberry thing.
It's right, and it's darker. There's a lot more conflict within the characters themselves, which Sid and I really like. And we like the idea that Bashir has a dark side. And all of the characters on Deep Space Nine have their dark sides. Because that's like life itself. In the 24th, 25th century doesn't mean, if we get that far, that suddenly we're all going to become happy people, and we're going to be happy all the time. That's kind of, I think that's kind of,
I think even Gene Roddenberry, if I might be so bold as to say, someone who obviously gets to speak for himself, might have come around to the fact that is possible. Deep Space Nine thing. He might have kicked up a fuss at the beginning and gone, this is really not what I had in mind. But after watching it a while and seeing the truth behind what was going on up on the stage there, he might actually have gone, okay, I quite like this. I might actually get involved with this. One never can say, but what one can't do is try and produce shows which are based on someone who obviously isn't around to enhance or evolve those shows on what they said before they had finished. I mean, obviously he was taken away and he hadn't finished saying what he wanted to say. And maybe he would have changed his mind or evolved. So we've got to go on without him in those terms.
Yeah, but I would hope that for me, what I come to learn about Star Trek is the hope that it's positive, that there is a future for us, that somehow we managed to get past a lot of this crap that seems to be intractable at this point. The poverty, the guy with the bad the racism, the ignorance, and so forth, and that that there will be a light, that we can, that our children, our grandchildren, and so forth can live. But anyway, thank you very much. Robinson.
We're going to set up a table in the front for the autograph.